What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, let's compare the Canon EOS R to the Canon G7X. These are the two cameras that are my two favorite cameras that I love to use. What are the differences between the two? In this video, we'll explain some of those things. Let's start with the Canon G7X Mark II. So this camera is a point-and-shoot camera. This camera is great for vlogging and great for doing some street photography here and there, and it fits in your pocket. It's very convenient. So you can take this thing traveling, you can put it in a purse or a side bag or your pocket even. It has a 1-inch sensor and 20.1 megapixels with an optical zoom. So that means that you just hold down this kind of trigger and it just zooms in and then zooms out. And you get to choose where you want that zoom to be, and you're ready to go. So the Canon G7X Mark II also has Wi-Fi and NFC capability, so you're able to share these photos and videos right to your phone or to a laptop, and it's pretty simple to do. All you have to do is just connect it to. And on the other hand, the Canon EOS R. Let's talk about this camera, the one that I use currently for my sit-down videos, the one that I use for vlogging, the one that I use for a lot of my professional work as well. And it's a great camera, and it's definitely my new day-to-day camera if I'm doing pretty much anything. So the Canon EOS R definitely has a bigger sensor, and that being said, it has a full frame sensor. It has the option to use interchangeable lenses, so it's not an optical zoom lens just like the Canon G7X where you hold down that trigger and it zooms forward and backwards. You have the ability with the Canon EOS R to take off the lens and put a new lens on to really tailor the look that you're really trying to go for when you're taking photos or when you're taking video. So that allows more creative control overall. With the Canon EOS R, you are able to take photos at 8 frames per second versus the Canon G7X Mark II where you're only taking 4.2 frames per second. So that's more photos per second. So if you're taking photos for a sports game or you're taking photos of nature, like let's say a hummingbird or some animal that's moving pretty quickly and you just want to get that perfect shot, you are able to take that specific photo that you're really trying to look for. So let's talk about the feel of these two cameras when you're using these cameras. The Canon EOS R definitely has a very ergonomic grip to it because when you're taking photos or you're holding the camera even, it just feels really good in the hand. It feels like it's not going to slip out of your hand. You know it's there. It's a solid piece of equipment ready to go. On the other hand, with the point-and-shoot camera, the Canon G7X Mark II, it's tiny, so you are going to feel like you might drop it at some point if you're not careful. So it comes with a wrist strap, so that's another plus, is that it does wrap around your wrist. That kind of helps out a little bit with the fact that it's a little bit smaller and you do have that potential of it slipping out of your hand. So the Canon EOS R definitely has another upper hand, which is the focus points. And the Canon EOS R has 5,655 focus points. Now with the Canon G7X Mark II, I've used that for a while. It's a pretty outdated camera comparative to the cameras that are out now. Focus point is just not there. But it's a great camera once it's in focus. So let's talk about batteries. So the Canon EOS R battery is about that big. They are LP6 batteries that you can buy off of Amazon or Best Buy or any store that's selling any camera gear. You're able to pick those up pretty easily. I use some of the knockoff third-party brands and those do just fine as well. They don't hold as strong of a charge than the Canon specific batteries for the Canon EOS R, but they do still hold up pretty well. Now the Canon G7X batteries, these things run out pretty quickly due to the fact that they're just pretty small. They'll last a long time if you know how to use the camera wisely and film when you need to film and not have the camera run until the battery is dry. Knowing when to film, knowing what you want to film, knowing how you're going to stage your action and film, that is all going to help and save the battery life of that battery. Now I suggest if you are going with the Canon G7X Mark II, definitely stock up on a couple batteries. 1 or 2 is fine. With the Canon EOS R, you're probably looking at 1 or 2 batteries as well. But for more professional work, because this is the type of camera that you would do a little bit more professional job with, you want to go with a little bit more batteries just so you can keep the camera running and not sit there with the battery in the outlet missing all the action. Last but not least, let's talk about price point. The Canon G7X Mark II is roughly around $650 US, and the Canon EOS R is roughly around $1,200. So these are general price points where the camera usually sits at. It does vary from company to company of where you're buying these cameras from, but that's the ballpark price points for these two cameras. So here's the reason of why I have these two cameras and what I use these cameras for. So I used both of these cameras for vlogging. I use both of these cameras for photos. They're really great. So sometimes I like to go out and start vlogging out in public, but sometimes I just feel a little bit too intimidated with the scenarios that I'm in. So let's say it's just not a place where I feel that it is necessary to bring in a huge camera and walk around with it. That's where the Canon G7X Mark II comes in, and it's perfect because it's way more discreet. You can just pull it out of your pocket or your purse or your side bag and have your hand kind of cover it a little bit, talk to the camera, and you don't really make too much of a big scene. Now with the Canon EOS R, it's pretty noticeable when you have this thing out because you have a long lens on it, you have the camera body, you have the flip out screen that goes to the right, and then your choice of a microphone on top. It does stick out in public a lot, but if you can kind of get past that point as well, just use the Canon EOS R. It's personal preference for myself where it's one or the other, and I go with one or the other. Another reason why I have the two is because I upgraded, because I knew that I wanted to have a little bit better quality and I was seeking that, and when I did, I decided to get the Canon EOS R because it was the first mirrorless camera that came out for Canon, and it was the first mirrorless camera for myself. I didn't want another camera that had a crop sensor or a small sensor. I wanted a camera with the bigger sensor being able to capture more in frame without having to buy wider and wider and wider and wider lenses. So that's another reason why I decided to get a full frame camera. Alright guys, so that's going to end it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Please leave a comment in the comment section down below and let me know which camera you would choose. Is it the Canon G7X Mark II or is it going to be the Canon EOS R? Both cameras are really great and both cameras have their differences. So you choose. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Help the algorithm out and get this video out to more people. If you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button because there's more videos just like this coming up every single week. I'm gonna peace out for now. Thanks for watching. It's been real. Keep it real. You know what it is. Deuces.